Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So welcome back to my NeoFly series. I'm going to take a longer flight today. I'm going to just take this one passenger. We're going to go to Wilmington Air Park. So I'm going to go ahead and add that job.
My favorite transporter. Passengers will board as soon as you request it.
So we're here at Mansfield Lam Regional. So kind of get a look there.
Boarding passenger, please stand by.
And we're ready to fly. As it said, obviously the passenger's going to get on. I am going to go ahead and should be all set. There we go. I'm going to get the plane ready to go. You can see we've got some pretty hefty fees.
Looks like everyone is on board,
but,
pilot. Let's get out of here.
We're in pretty good shape, so I'll get working along here and get everything loaded, and I'll be back when we're ready to start moving. Alright, so I'm going ahead and I'm going to use Beyond ATC.
Beyond ATC connected.
So it is loading up here. So we've got a relatively busy airport here. Good amount of planes, a lot of small parking spaces. We should just be able to pull out of here in between, so I think we'll be okay. We won't need any pushback services or anything like that. We've got about 102 miles to go. So, and of course, again, the way we fly is going to be a little bit unique. But anyway, let me get everything else set up. And I'll be back, as I said, in a bit, once we're ready to start calling for clearance and things like that.
You're good to go. Contact the tower for clearance.
Alright, we are started. We have our flight plan in, so we have a couple waypoints, and then we're doing the RNAV approach into runway 4 left is what we have been told to use, at least by SimBrief. Let's see if Beyond ATC agrees. Let me actually check ATIS first. Get everything set. See what our
Mansfield Lam Airport Information India. 1754 Zulu. Wind 025 at tree. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 21. Dew point 14. Altimeter tree 010. Landing and departing runways tree 205. Advise on initial contact you have Information India.
So we're good there.
Mansfield Lam Airport Information India.
So we're going to switch to ground. Mansfield Ground, request IFR clearance to Wilmington, Ohio, November 172 Sierra Bravo.
November 172 Sierra Bravo, Mansfield Ground, cleared to Wilmington Air Park Airport. Radar vectors track, then as filed. Maintain 4,500. Departure frequency 134.9er. Squawk tree 601.
Runway 5. Radar vectors track, then as filed. Maintain 4,500. Departure frequency 134.9. Squawk 3601. November 172 Sierra Bravo.
November 172 Sierra Bravo. Read back correct. Call me back when ready for start or taxi.
Alright, so 3601 is our squawk. So we'll get that entered. I'm going to turn it on. Should
November
be okay
172
there.
Sierra Bravo. Read back correct. Call me back when ready for start or taxi.
Call when ready for start or taxi. November 172 Sierra Bravo. Okay, so we should be all set. I'd say we're ready for push and start, but we're already started. Mansfield Ground, request push and start, November 172 Sierra Bravo.
November 172 Sierra Bravo, Mansfield Ground, pushback and engine start approved. Face northwest.
Face northwest, November 172 Sierra Bravo. Again, because I'm pulling out right here, I'm just going to go ahead and request the taxi to runway. We've already got our passenger on board, so no reason to take any longer here. We're going to get our nav light on. We don't need landing yet until we get to the runway. I don't think, yeah, I haven't set my flaps yet, so we'll do that. And we should be all set. Request taxi to runway November 172 Sierra Bravo.
November 172 Sierra Bravo. Runway 5 taxi via Bravo.
Runway 5, taxi via Bravo, November 172 Sierra Bravo. Alright, so I actually need to go around behind me and basically follow that line. So I'll just turn around. I should have enough room within the space I've got. So let's go ahead. I'll get myself set on my Navigraph, because this is a long enough flight that I definitely want to do that. So we'll throttle up a bit here. And that should, yeah, we should be okay. Maybe a little more to get moving. There we go. So the question is, can I do that? And if not, maybe what I'll do is I'll just go down the flight line, kind of what I was planning on doing. Now I need to slow this down. And we'll just head out once we get past the aircraft, and then we'll get on to the taxiway. So the Beyond ATC now has taxi maps in it, which is awesome. So it will kind of show us where we need to go. Of course, you know, you've got things like this where on the path, airports sometimes have lights. It's all wonderful stuff, but that's why we do it without collisions, because otherwise we'd be running into stuff, and then it would be aborting, and that would be bad. So, but we basically, the runway's off to our right, and we just need to head down. Big tower here for not a giant airport. I mean, it's kind of interesting. They've got a pretty crazy tower. I'm assuming this is based on some sort of reality. But if I pull this over here, you can see what I'm talking about. So it's very clearly showing me, you know, leaving from here, and Bravo just takes me there. So it actually makes it quite a lot simpler than it used to be to do these things. So it's pretty nice. But yeah, we'll be taking off basically in the opposite direction of where we need to fly, but should have plenty of fuel to get there, and we'll just be able to enjoy the Ohio scenery as we go. 4,500 feet shouldn't be too bad, because you can see we're already at 1,460. We do have, again, our altimeter set appropriately to 3010. It almost feels like we're slowing down, but I don't want to go too much faster, because that gets dangerous too. But I'm imagining the flight time is going to be a bit over an hour, so this is going to be a little bit longer episode, but a lot of times kind of stop talking and I'll let you watch. But I've got other things that I can share with you in case this is the only series you watch. Just some details about some new sims and so forth that I'm playing with, and you know, what I'm getting into and so forth. But anyway, we'll take off and we'll worry about that. But otherwise, I just basically kind of set it out the window like this and let you enjoy the scenery. And we go from there, type of thing. But And that honestly happens more often at the other VFR series that I'm doing, the Around the World tour. So if you were unaware of that, I'd encourage you, if you're at all interested, check that out. I'm using the TBM 850 for that, the Black Square TBM 850. Really fun aircraft, nice aircraft to fly, has a higher speed than the Cessna. And it's a tour I found that has some narrative, so it's basically a sightseeing tour, so it's a lot of flying, but we get to see things on the way. But at times, because there's long distances between and you're still flying, not a jet or anything, it takes a little bit of time, so sometimes I'll just look out the window. Usually for the NeoFly, I've been flying them.
November 172 Sierra Bravo. Contact Mansfield Tower 119.8.
Mansfield Tower 119.8, November 172 Sierra Bravo.
Negative. Tower on 119.8.
Didn't I say that? 119.8, November 172 Sierra Bravo. I think I may have just said contact tower. Might have been the issue. Mansfield Tower, November 172 Sierra Bravo, request departure.
November 172 Sierra Bravo, Mansfield Tower, wind 035 at 4, fly runway heading, runway 5, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 5 cleared for takeoff, fly runway heading, November 172 Sierra Bravo. Alright, so we're going to turn off the taxi light, we're going to turn on the landing light. I'm going to take a quick look at my NeoFly off to the side here. Yeah, it doesn't look like I've gotten any penalty for incorrect light settings for the first time ever in my NeoFly series, so I think I had everything on that I needed to have on. But what I do want to get set is I want to get my flight director and my nav set. We'll see. I don't know that I can worry about the VNav, but we'll play with that when we need to. And I think we're good to go. So let's turn the brake off. And we should start rolling again soon. I guess we can speed it up a little bit just to make sure we get going. Brake is off. I always have to double check. It always seems to take more power than you'd think it should to get going, but there we go. So heading out. So you can see the turn it's having me do, but I think I'm going to fly it manually and kind of get myself on track and then turn on the autopilot. I'm not going to have it try to do it. All right, let's crank it up. Let's get off the ground. So here we go. Again, little shorter runway here. This is about 6,500 square feet. I'm not sure if I landed on the 7,900s, not square feet, 6,500 feet. And I'm not sure if I landed on the 7,900 foot runway or this one. It doesn't entirely matter. But there we go.
It's a beautiful time to fly.
All right, and since it's suggesting we go this way, I just will do that. So, again, we need to climb a bit, but we had a good rate of about 750, but now we're spinning around, and we're going to need to go basically sideways here, so we're overflying the airport again, but obviously we're not getting any other direction from air traffic, so I think we're okay. Let me pull up beyond ATC there. Oh, it's still telling me to turn some more. Alright, at this point though, I should be able to put on the autopilot and vertical speed, and then I should be able to do nose up, get myself climbing a bit. So we're kind of gonna go, it's an interesting tower. I believe I've been by this area, so I'm just a little befuddled by what I'm seeing, because I don't honestly know what it is. But it's intriguing, whatever it is. It definitely could be a problem, like if we were flying in that direction. I'm not sure we're over it yet, but 500 feet going up, probably good enough, given the distance that we need to travel. So we've got a little over 41 nautical miles to our first waypoint of track. But we are off, and again, we're capped at 4,500, and at this point, there's not a whole lot to do other than enjoy the scenery and see what's going on. I mean, yeah, that does look like some sort of a skyscraper, but Mansfield's not normally like that big of a city. Kind of Mansfield's claim to fame, honestly, is the prison that was used in the movie Shawshank Redemption is here. So they actually do things for Halloween and stuff, that you can actually stay in the prison overnight or something. I think they do some other things around, but you can visit it year-round. I don't know where the prison is in this area. Not been there, so I have no idea if we're going to overfly it. I'm guessing we probably are not. But in any event, we are heading out now. So let me look at my NeoFly here. And, you know, we'll be able to use that map and get a little bit more information as we need to. But I'm also trying to like position my Beyond ATC window and stuff so I can see what I need to see. I am surprised, frankly, that we haven't gotten flagged as taken off, so we may not get any more air traffic. I don't know. We'll see if it calls us out or not, but it may just be quiet because, you know, we're not doing much and there's not a lot in the area. I don't know. I do have FSLTL running as I talked about, so is that a farm field? Probably. It was just interesting how it's kind of carved out of the trees there. But yeah, as I see things, I guess, on the map, if I see anything, cities, towns, that it tells us about, I'll certainly share with you anything of interest that we're coming upon. But like I said, right now, I think we're still in Mansfield. I don't see any new city name coming up on the map, but I am, you know, I'm zoomed in quite a bit, but we're also not flying very high, so that would seem to make sense. So I'm kind of flying, I set my altitude at VFR height. I really probably should have set it at 4,000 and just gone with that since we're really IFR. But I'm used to when I'm flying low, I just do some other things. Alright, so the Clark... Yeah, this is the Clear Fork Reservoir that we're flying over. I think. Coming up on State Route 97. And just lots of farm fields, it looks like, so. But we're getting close to our elevation, or our altitude. I am not using the right terms today, so that's not good. But yeah, this will be about 7,000. I could have gone in this direction, gone a little further, about 50 miles, and gotten it up above 10,000. I just don't know that we need to push it that far. So I was like, you know, we'll just leave it at that. Alright, so altitude is coming up, and it should then flatten me out. There we go. So you are now witnessing why I have a Cessna 172 instead of the Cessna 152 it initially gave us, because I can just enjoy the journey, and the passenger with me can enjoy the journey, and there isn't much else going on. So about 9 nautical miles away from the airport, and we're done with the coverage, or the climb. Man, I cannot speak today. Let me slow down. I'm redlining the engine. That's not going to be good for anybody. So, but yeah, you know, flight sim, absolutely still something I'm pretty heavily involved with, or I am heavily involved with, either on the channel or without. So that's part of the other thing, is I'm trying to, the American virtual airline that I got booted from for lack of activity, I'm on a tour with them, which is kind of the initial one to then unlock any other things with them. And you have to get that done. It's 10 legs basically going to all the American hubs, and you've got to do it in 90 days, and I'm probably 20 days in or something. So I've got 3 legs done. The next leg is going to be from Dallas-Fort Worth to Miami, so it's about a 3-hour flight. I actually was debating doing that tonight, but that would have kept me up well past midnight, probably well past midnight. And given that it's a night before work, not a good plan. So decided to do some NeoFly. This is going to be long enough as it is. Yeah, this may take me a lot longer than I wanted, but we're committed at this point, so I will get it done. But yeah, it's already 11:30. So I'm probably still going to be past midnight, but hopefully it won't be too bad. I just got to play with this a bit. Let's see if I can speed it up. I don't know that there's much I can do to go any faster than I'm going right now. But, you know, because we've got, like I said, about 102 nautical miles, but we're basically going to track, and then we're literally going to go straight south to the other waypoint, which is strangely called Empty. I thought, when I saw the SimBrief plan, I thought it was some weird command or route instruction or something, but no, that is the waypoint. It's pretty rare that they spell out place names or anything. Alright, we're coming up on a town called Candlewood Lake. We're going to be passing Mount Gilead Morrow Company sometime soon. So the other potential job I could have taken here in NeoFly, they did have basically a tourist flight or a sightseeing flight to the Longaberger headquarters, which is Fancy Baskets, if you're unfamiliar with Longaberger. They are based in Ohio, and so, you know, again, I don't know. I assume they're putting in points of interest based on stuff that is real in NeoFly, but not sure how that works and is populated. Basically, what that requires is you fly out, you circle around the location, the people take some photos, and then you come back to the same airport. Actually, I think you can land anywhere, so I suppose I could have gone and then picked another airport. Well, no, I think it did say go and come back, so, and I didn't want to just then fly right back to Mansfield, so I was like, no, we'll take something a little bit different, because I'm trying to get away from where I've been doing a lot of my test flying. So when I was doing all the testing of the different career mods, I was kind of a lot of times in this Northeast Ohio area, and so there's a lot of things on the channel around that, and I'm like, let me get to other areas of the country. We'll see how it goes, if we're gonna keep heading west, or will we go due south, will we go back east. But I think just being able to fly around a little bit is going to be a nice added change to things. Alright, so Gilead should be out there somewhere. Let's see. Can we see an airport? It should be kind of in this space. Thing is, it might not have a run. Oh, it's probably right there. Duh. So there we go. Because I'm like, it might not have a regular runway. Might be a grass strip, because that certainly can be the case. And then there's Marion Municipal. That's a little further away. It's going to be more probably in that direction. Yeah, I don't know that we're seeing anything. I mean, maybe. Whoops, maybe that, but it don't really matter. But there we go. So Mount Gilead. And it says Morrow Company, so I don't know if this is now a airstrip from a company that owns it, or what the situation is. But no other real airports after that. And then we're what, 20 nautical miles away from track. We're going to go 21 nautical miles between track and empty. And then again, we've got a decent distance, and we're going to fly past the Wilmington Airport, which again is Kilo India Lima November for the call sign for that airport, if you're wondering where we're heading and just want to look it up on your own and understand kind of the track that we're going on. But not a lot of... Yeah, I think most of the country, most of any country, I mean, it's just going to be a lot of rural farm fields and things like that you're going to be flying over. So, a couple large buildings down there. I think the roadway next to us there is State Highway 42, the one that's a little bit bigger. It's US Highway 42, so it's a US route. So that would be, I think, this one here. Because we are kind of going to run parallel with it for a little bit, it looks like, and then it turns away and runs south from us. But yeah, so 110 or so. So again, when I have 102 as the distance, and it's probably going to be a little bit longer, given that we're not flying direct. But at that point, it's going to be an hour of flight time. Because the other piece that I'm not aware of is, is my ground speed 110 knots, and it may not be. We may be flying into the wind, and so we may be going slower. Alright, so there is, I think, a grass strip. It's listed as 30H7. that we just went by, kind of behind us there somewhere. Yeah, it's just really hard to, I mean, maybe, nah, that's not it. That's just, it is so hard to pick things out, which again is why I'd rather go to non-grass strip runways unless I have to. You know, again, if I get the opportunity, oh, well, maybe it's right there. So that's certainly a runway, but that showed up on my NeoFly map. We've obviously got some water coming up, but it's not close enough that I can see it, because basically I've got 2-3 miles distance in my entire window that I'm able to see, so I'm zoomed in quite a bit so that I can see some good detail, because that actually helps as I get closer to the airport and want to see what's going on. Again, less need to do that now that I've got an actual flight plan filed for this flight and so forth, but you know, this should take a good amount of fuel, I would think. You know, but we should have plenty. We'll just have to be careful when we land, that before our next mission might be time to spend a little on fuel. But yeah, this should get us over 60,000, but we're gonna need, you know, probably 200,000 before we have any opportunity at trying to determine if we want to buy a Cessna or if we want to step up and rent something a little zippier and just continue renting things. But as always, I will take a look at each airport, see what aircraft are available, because it's not like I have to do a Cessna. You know, if I can find something else that's in a range I can afford that I enjoy flying, and then you know, that's a possibility. But wow, we're finally at 10 miles from track, so you get to understand why I don't typically do 100-mile routes in my Cessna, because it takes some time. So I guess let me get into, you know, I said I would at least share a little bit of stuff. So I talked about Trains Plus, and so there's two versions of the subscription. It's a subscription service, which is why it's called Trains Plus. So you're not just buying the game. One of the benefits of it, and why I said, you know, I'll go ahead and try it, is the 1-year subscription at the base level is the same cost. This is Delaware Lake that we're passing over, by the way, in Delaware State Park. Is the same price as buying the software Trains Railroad Simulator 22, which is the version that's out now, and it indicates that you'd be able to keep that after you canceled your subscription. So I'd have the software either way, it's just I wouldn't have any content. And so there's a base version and a gold version of the subscription, which the gold version is more. It's about $120 if you pay annually versus $70 for the base that you're paying. But until I'm sure that I enjoy it and really need that additional piece, I'm going with the less expensive option, and it still lets you download some content, but basically then the content isn't, you're not allowed to keep it, and you don't have it unless you do pay for it afterwards. But the benefit of the subscription is you can then try out things and determine, yeah, I like this, and you know, I'm going to spend whatever amount it is for that route or for those assets or whatever it might be that you're thinking of. All right, so we're coming up on track here. But yeah, it's still 5 miles. It's going to take a little bit. So, you know, I've watched some. I found a creator who has a pretty good tutorial series, quite thorough. I think it's one of those that I would say, I don't know. It's still a challenge for me as a beginner to understand what they're saying and how they're guiding you along. But I'm able to follow along by rewinding, rewatching sections, and so forth. And so I've gone through their whole, I think it's really 18 videos as their tutorial series. So at this point I should know most of everything that is available for that. And it's just a matter of, am I going to go create a route? I'm going to see if I can maybe find some routes that I can download and just enjoy, because I did go through the tutorial series of driving the trains and so forth. So very similar to the train simulator from Dovetail that I've had featured on the channel. So I'm sure this other Trains Railroad Simulator 22 will show up here and there. Will it become a series? Whatever, I don't know. I know, like, this content creator that I watched the tutorial on, they've been working on a route, and they're going into, like, I think they're at like 280 episodes of working on this route. So, and they're live streams that they're doing that are like 2 or 3 hour live streams. So 500 plus hours working on one route. Maybe it's a really, really big, long route. I don't know. I haven't really looked at it, and I don't know if it's a real route or if it's a fictional route that they're creating. It's something called Milton County. So I think it's Milton County. It's Milton something. Alright, so now we're coming up on track, and we should be then going to heading 180 from the 233 that we're at. So obviously it will do that shortly here. I'm just used to, like with jets or whatever, like obviously it starts turning pretty quickly. There we go. It's starting to blink in a few seconds, and then, because we're still like half a mile away. And so now again we've got 21 nautical miles, but then between that waypoint and the next location might be like 70 or 80 nautical miles, so it's going to be like double what we just did. So that'll give you an idea, I suppose. So we're passing over Warrensburg now, and we're going across Route 36. We're heading to US Route 36, Marysville Road. Again, nothing I'm really familiar with here, but for, in case I'm flying over an area, it gives you some idea, what the bearings. And then looks like another town, White Sulphur, here that will be out this window that we'll be passing in a bit. It's hard to see the river on the map. There's a Mill Creek Golf Club over on this side that we're going to be coming up upon. I don't know that we'll really be able to see it, but just giving you some ideas. So yeah, I'm not sure. The river's not labeled or anything, but at this point, I'm sure we're still, we've barely gotten under 20, 18 miles to go to the waypoint. And then basically we turn on a very similar heading, probably a little shallower, so probably closer to 180. I mean, in theory right now we're actually at 189. You can see where 191 is where we're actually flying. But and then, like I said, I'm trying to do some. I have a little bit of interest in learning or playing around with golf course design, but that too does seem like it's pretty time consuming, and that's been the challenge with a lot of things. But I am sharing on the videos that I do on the channel that I'm looking at that, because that is why probably the amount of content coming out may decrease, and it may decrease for a long period of time, or I may decide, it's just, a lot to do these other things, and you know, I'll give up on that and so forth. But I want to at least give it a try, because I think, you know, that kind of stuff interests me. I do find it entertaining. It's a bit of a challenge just learning those things. So there's another airport. We passed Delaware Municipal Monroe, and there's actually Marysville Union is off in this direction. So that might be Marysville there. That looks like it could be an airport. Because, yeah, like right now we should be coming abreast of it, so that would seem to be correct. But yeah, that Delaware one is behind us quite a bit. You know, looks like it might be up there. I don't know. But yeah, I don't see anything that clearly looks like an airport. And now we're passing 33OH pretty much right now. So somewhere down here there should be a, and again, it's probably a grass strip or something. I mean, maybe it's that. It just, that looks more like a field than anything, so don't know. But that's on the Neofly. Oh, Glacier Ridge. We've got Glacier Ridge Elementary School coming up. Maybe this is way more detail than you want to know, but so I think that's there or somewhere there. I don't know what that thing is. Oh, Glacier Ridge Metro Park is what that is. So that's just a big park area. And then Tartan Fields Golf Club, so that we can pretty clearly see. Maybe they've got multiple courses, I'm not sure. Oh no, there's a country club at Muirfield Village, so that's actually that. And I think Tartan Fields Golf Club is up here, so there's two golf courses kind of right near each other. Alright, and then we're overflying a high school at the intersection there, so there's the high school. It says Dublin Jerome High School. But about halfway, so we are now going by Columbus, Ohio, is out in, really from here and over is where we're at. So Ohio State University's airport, that's probably that right there. So that's KOSU. But yeah, and then we're passing US Route 33 is what's sweeping along here. And then again, obviously it looks like it kind of goes a little north of the airport there. And then we'll be going by Dublin, and also coming up on the Golf Club of Dublin, so another golf course. So, you know, we've got golf courses that we see in Flight Simulator. I've got golf courses I play in PGA Tour 2K23. Now, I assume the golf course thing is just gonna, like, if I ever get one done or whatever and publish it, like, it's just gonna be something to try and do. You know, I'm certainly, you know, if I can get decent at it and do it with some reasonable amount of speed, it's just right now I haven't even been able to get a single hole done in a way that I would say it's playable or fleshed out, and I'm in essence starting over again. I have to find a decent set of tutorials. You know, I found enough that I know how to use the interface a little bit, but sculpting the land has proven to be more challenging than one would think. So, alright, so again, we're basically even with OSU, so that's definitely got to be it there. And then, you know, but Columbus, like that, there's the city proper, I think. And that, in essence, like at Columbus, is when we hit empty, and then we'll start to turn away. So that'll be the only, like, these are literally the 2 waypoints on the entire trip. Everything else are just flying direct to the, or direct from the airport, or direct to the airport. Although again, I'm going in an RNAV approach at Kiln, so it's a little bit different there. But yeah, we're now half an hour in. It's now hitting midnight, so you know, we've gone about 60 miles, so we're moving along at a decent clip. But we've probably still got 5 miles or so before we hit empty. Again, it should be almost aligned with the city of Columbus, the downtown area. And there's going to be a Columbus Bolton Airport that is going to be a little bit southeast of us that we might be able to see, that we'll turn and go away from. So if we start seeing some sort of airport there, and then we're going to be passing over, I think, Sky Ranch, which is what, 490H? I think I've flown to that. That sounds familiar. So I wonder if I've done that on other NeoFly things I've done. I may have. Again, that probably is a grass strip. That looks like a train yard, but not entirely sure. So I'm looking for this other possible airport. Maybe it's there. I mean, it looks like the runway's more diagonal, the way it appears, because I'm close enough on my Navigraph that it kind of does show me the directions. Alright, so that's Interstate 70, I-70 right there, heading into Columbus. So now that gives you a little bit of a geographical reference. Yeah, that has to be the airport. Actually, yeah, that might be the runway there. So, because that would be about the right direction. We should be turning at any moment now. Thorn Apple Country Club. Oh, there we go, right below us. So plenty of golf here in the Columbus area, obviously, to keep people busy and interested. And then that is US Route 40, and my guess is we're going to start turning right about over that, or darn close to it. So we should be heading out in that direction somewhere. So we'll see what that turns into. So, at this point, I am surprised that we're not. Let me see if things are working. I might need to tell it to go direct. Yeah, because it's not really turning. So let me... No, I don't want to go to Limey. So let me do the flight plan. Now it's going to Chimley. Oh, did it skip Chimley? Interesting. Does it think I don't need to go that far? I don't know. I think Limey might be too much, so let me see. So CHMLE, Chimley. We'll go direct there. We'll activate it. Whoops. Alright, why is this not working? Oh, because I didn't hit enter. Okay, and then we want to activate. There we go. So now it should turn. There we go. Alright. So now it's going to turn a little bit more aggressively. So it looks like it's 55 nautical miles. So thank goodness it's not 70 or 80 like I was thinking it was going to be. But yeah, we're really close to that Columbus Bolton Airport now because we went further south. Yeah, there it is. So we have that there. We're going over Hickory Hills Golf Club. There we go. You get a lot of tours of golf courses as we go. Maybe that'll be the thing to keep us interested. But I'm also guessing it's only because we're near Columbus. It's not like I saw a bunch of golf courses otherwise. So, but yeah, we're heading at a bit more westerly altitude than we would have been. But we're heading basically over the town of Wrightville. We're not there yet, but we're going to be there in about 3/4 of a mile. It's basically at this intersection here. So, if you're familiar with Wrightville, there we go. We're overflying it. Just about right now. But you can see Columbus way in the distance there. So we're heading away from that. And continuing on for probably 20-25 minutes before we get to the point. Now I'm probably not going to go all the way to Chimley. 48 nautical miles, so because I probably don't need all that distance, but I don't want to be like turning and then fighting to line up and so forth to get into the airport. I'd rather fly 5 extra minutes, and yes, I understand that makes it 10 minutes round trip, but it's a lot nicer to be able to safely run my legs than otherwise. So there's a big airport coming up. I think it's Springfield. Way out. I mean, we're not going to be able to see it, but I'm seeing it on my Navigraph. I'm sorry, I think I hit my microphone, so I'm sorry if that turns into something loud for you. But yeah, we've got like a 55-mile leg that we're getting down to 45 nautical miles on, so just not something we move on too quickly. So the other piece, again, depending on what you watch on the channel or whatever, Farming Simulator 25 has been announced. I'm just not sure. Honestly, if and when. I'm seeing some better things about it, like some interesting AI and so forth that might make it worthwhile. There's been some nice big maps that have come out for Farming Simulator in the last week that also have gotten me enthused just about, hey, there's people still working on things. But one of them, I will say, the initial kind of cinematic start of the trailer that the Farm Sim guy did for it, it's Hubbard, Nebraska. Looked really, really cool, but as I watched the video of going through the map, one of the things he did mention is the creator released it early because they want to let people use it in Farming Simulator 22 before Farming Simulator 25 comes out. And I think it has a little bit of that feel. It feels a little empty. Now the challenge is, again, out in the Great Plains where you've got giant fields and so forth. I think that's the nature of what the world feels like out there. I've been out in Nebraska and all that. It's a really interesting looking thing we're flying over. Well, that is what it looks like. It's just a lot of roads. So I don't know. It looks that way, like almost like it was stamped or something in the NeoFly overlay, and I'm sure it's, probably using Bing Maps too, so It's just I'm looking at a smaller version of what I'm actually flying over, but it's probably the same source. So anyway, I don't know if that's more like an industrial farming setup. It's just the grids are really interesting. It's almost like it's like a city getting ready to be laid out or has been laid out, and then eventually they'll build it, but there's nothing labeled there now on the map or anything. Obviously we haven't flown over a golf course in a while, so like I said, I think we had more golf courses to fly over, enjoy, and look at, just because we were near one of the major cities in Ohio. But perspective-wise, as far as driving, Columbus is like a 2.5, 3-hour drive from the Cleveland area where we started our NeoFly journey. So that gives you a bit of an idea of how far away we are, but and where we're headed is, I think, a little bit south of Dayton, but still north and east of Cincinnati a bit. Probably more east than north, so that's where we're headed. But trying to see if there's any other airports. So out this way, I think, yeah. So that's Interstate 71 that we are coming up to. Oh, alright. Literally no air traffic until now, so. But yeah, we haven't gotten handed off. And again, we haven't flown very far, so. But, it's good to know that Beyond ATC is still actually functioning. I really thought it might have lost us once we took off. So I'll try to remember when it hands me off to whoever, and maybe it won't hand me off. Maybe Mansfield Tower is still who in theory would land us, but you would think as we get closer that we'd get something. I don't know. Right, it looks like we probably are going to cross I-71. Well, in fact, yeah, now that I see it on my Navigraph, we absolutely will be. We're kind of on an intercept course with this, but it seems like we're getting close, and then we would turn to the left a bit, but I don't know that we really will. I still can't quite see the airport on my Navigraph chart as it's moving along. We're getting close, though. And again, keep in mind that Chimley at 35 nautical miles is past the airfield. We're landing on 4 left, so I think there are 3 runways at this airport, so it is certainly not a small airport. But you know, to land on 4 left is just going to be like when we took off at 5. We were heading basically northeast-ish, and so we'll be circling around and landing the same way. So about 180 degrees or so from where we're at now. Because right now, obviously, coming at 230 or 240, you know, we're about 190 degrees from where we would be there. And that's more with the 231 that I'm seeing on my primary flight display. Alright, just passing Yatesville. Again, quite a ways off. I-71 has now moved to the other side. We can't see it yet. I think we're going to run relatively parallel to it, so it's pretty much under the plane at this point. So there it is. So you can kind of see the path we're taking. It's going to pull away from us a little bit. I was wondering if that's an airport, but I don't think so. There's nothing I see on the map. Jeffersonville is coming up. So pretty easy flight. Nothing unexpected. I always keep forgetting, partially because I don't fly this plane that often, where the fuel is, but I don't know that we have a gauge. I mean, there's should be one somewhere, but I'm not seeing anything, so I may have to, like, if I needed to look at it or display it. So there we go. We've got our total hours. It says 22 hours. I think. I don't know if that accumulates. It may. But I think that's 22 hours of Cessna flying. Because obviously I've used Cessnas for other things, and we don't have nearly enough episodes in this series to have 22 hours of flying. Certainly not with the Cessna 172. We were in the 152 for quite a few episodes, obviously. Alright, so we're down to just under 30 nautical miles. You can see on the navigation, this is the missed approach loop. So airport's basically right, maybe right about there. So we'll see how things go. Washington Courthouse, Lafayette County Airport, almost straight out the window there. Obviously further away than I thought. I mean, it's north of the city, so it's like it should be right around somewhere in there. But yeah, it's far enough away that we really can't get a clean visual on it. Alright, and that road is US Route 35 that we're just getting ready to pass over. So that is likely our airport. If we were landing, because the way this will take us, we're in essence going to overfly the airport and then circle around and come back. So if it had been landing us a different way, I mean, if air traffic takes us in a different way, we'll gladly do that. But right now, air traffic isn't really telling us anything, and we're probably 15 miles at most from the airport, so I'm surprised. I'm also wondering if this is a non-towered airport. Can I tell? Yeah, I'm not sure. It's got fuel lights, hard runway. I'm not sure what the other thing. I think it's that it has ILS is the other symbol that I'm looking at. So it may not have a tower, which seems odd. I would think every ILS airport is towered, but maybe that's not an accurate statement. Yeah, so I'm sure our rental fee for this flight will be over $100 for sure. It'll be in the triple digits. Alright, so just about south of, so this is south. You can see kind of where north is. So it's, this is the southern end of that. So even though we're headed up, we're not fully flipped over, obviously, but we're getting to that point. So let's see. So yes, this is the airfield. Again, you've got a 4 left and right, and then I think you've got a runway crossing. I apologize for getting near the top of the screen and getting all those pop-ups coming up. We're going to pass something called Beam, B-E-A-M, yeah, Beam Farms, literally almost on our flight path, so again, could be a grass strip. Not sure, it's probably like 6 miles away still. And then a little bit further away from our flight path, we're going to pass Wilmington Hollister, which also is showing up on Navigraph as green, so I'm thinking the green ones are a bit more likely to be grass strips, but don't know for sure. So at this point, yeah, like now I'm just more looking to be able to see how well I can pick things out of the sky. Maybe? No, that's probably just a road. But yeah, I'm just not quite sure. Not quite sure where it would be. But according to Navigraph, we're kind of almost right there. So, sorry, I moved my Beyond ATC over my Neofly window, and it was causing me some concern. So yeah, if there is an airstrip, I'm just not seeing it. Or no, yeah, there it is. Okay, so that was it. So that's Beam, and then somewhere in this direction, probably there, is Wilmington Hollister. Because it is kind of diagonal from KILN. So, and the one we're landing on is the far runway, so this is our runway that we're going to be coming in on. But as I said, the way it's sending us, like, we're going to go right over the airport. I mean, if I was on the correct approach to begin with, we really would have gone over, like, the center of the runway, but we'll probably be off to the east a little bit here as we pass it. And so then the real question will then be, how far away do I need to get before I can swing around and then come in and land appropriately? But right now we're still, what, 16, 17 miles? Oh, we're low on fuel. Well, that's not good. I'm surprised, honestly. I wonder then, maybe I should not push my luck. Although, well, well, hopefully we're good. Where's my fuel gauge? I guess I'm going to spend a little bit of time looking for that. Oh, yeah, my fuel gauges are here. Alright, yeah, so we're just getting in the yellow. So we're okay. Yeah, we should be fine. So, no need to panic, but there we go. Oh, looks like this runway's closed. It just got yellow X's on it. But we've got a good amount of planes down there. So, you know, who knows where this passenger we're bringing, maybe they're just continuing on with someone else. I don't know. But I could, I don't know, we'll see. We're not near Limey yet. We're obviously not even past the end of the runway yet. But the question really becomes, like, how far do I need to go before I'm comfortable turning around? And just, I think I want to go a little ways. I mean, I should probably go 5 miles or so. But what I probably will do is I will vertical speed and nose down. Probably because I haven't lowered my altitude. So let's see. Now if I do nose down. Nope, it's just not. There we go. Alright, so let me start descending some. Back off on the... Well, I don't know that I want to go that far back, but we'll see. That'll also obviously slow fuel consumption. Alright. So, you know, now we're a decent ways past the end. Let's get the landing monitor up so that we know how far we are above the ground. At 2,500 it should show up there anyway, but still nice to know. Yeah, so the question is, like, will it make this turn? I don't know that it will. Because, yeah, in theory, the top of descent I just had passed. Alright. I mean, I could have done an ILS approach, but I'm like, nah, we'll fly it a little bit more per what we have. But we're getting close. I mean, you can see where Limey is. That Limey's there, so it may still turn us there. We're below 2,000 now to the ground. Alright, let me back off the engines a bit more. Okay, now it is starting to turn, so... Alright, so I'm going to put out my first level of flaps. Because at this point, yeah, we're just barely 6 miles out, so... Definitely don't want to go too far. So, flaps fully out, or heading to be fully out. And then we'll go from there. Alright, well, there's the airport. There's the outer marker that we're hearing. 1,300 feet. And so now it should line up. And then we'll bring her in, is the plan. So, alright, I need a little bit more speed because we're getting pretty slow. Alright, we're going to bring the nose up a bit. But yeah, obviously air traffic is not going to say anything. Mansfield Tower, have information Kilo. November 172 Sierra Bravo. Let's see if it tells me anything.
November 172 Sierra Bravo.
Alright.
I didn't get that.
Yeah. It doesn't know what it's telling us, so. Alright, so let me go up to 1700, because that's probably going to get me down near 500 feet. Probably, yeah, we'll be below that looking at it now, so. We'll let it level out, which it's, there you go, so it's right about 500. But we are still 3.5 miles out, so I definitely don't want to be descending. You can see where the glide slope is, like we're well below where we should be at this point. But definitely will need some fuel. But made the flight, so that is awesome. I'm glad to have it, well, most of it behind me. I'm pretty good at landing the Cessna now. Now I say that, and who knows what's going to happen as I start to slow down really, really slow. Alright, we'll turn off autopilot, and we're going to start bringing it in. Because now we're about 2 nautical miles out. Back this off. And we should be able to just glide in and get in. I don't know. There might be some PAPI lights out here. I mean, that's where they'd normally be with the touchdown markers, but 200 feet. I might be cutting the engine off a little too early, but that's alright. I should be able to glide onto the cement at least. I'm certainly going to touch down earlier than in theory I should, but that's alright.
Transporter from dispatch. Nice landing. Go to the parking and put your parking brake on. I'll be in touch. Taxi to parking and shut down your engine.
Alright, and it's obviously not telling us anything about landing, so yeah, the airport over there. Yeah, I mean, basically we're finally at the touchdown markers, so I definitely got down pretty darn early. But it's alright, it worked. So, clearly some larger aircraft here, though, so I think there's a parking spot here, so we're going to just exit at Alpha right away, since we're not getting any air traffic, and then there should be just a large parking pad over here, according to my NeoFlow view at least. And we'll just head in. And we will say we've done what we need to do here. But plenty of tarmac to park on. 134, not a bad landing rate. That is what it reported. So 52 knots, so I was definitely pretty slow. Alright, so at this point I want to, I think I've got everything. Can turn off our landing, our taxi light, shut off our engine.
Transporter.
Get this over
Disembarkation in
here.
progress. Stand by.
So now the engine is off. So I can turn off the beacon. Nav the strobe. There we go. And hopefully we'll get a good score. But yeah, we used 60 pounds of fuel. There you go. Rented aircraft. 342 for that longer flight. But again, our A qualification of 2 stars
Transporter from dispatch.
gets us a higher
Everyone is on the
XP
bus.
rate.
Check that they haven't forgotten anything.
So we're getting
Have a nice
close
day.
here. 890 out of 1,000. So I'll be opening things up soon. But let's take a look. So yeah, lots of really big aircraft here. So this is not a small aircraft facility. And yes, we cannot get any certification here. I mean, we might be able to do something crazy. We actually could get certified on the the 747-8I here, but I'd have to spend 27,000 to do it, and I can't. I mean, I'd be qualified, but I don't think I'm even allowed to fly. Like, we wouldn't get any missions for that. So that would really be stepping out of bounds. But yes, so I could do that there, but that's all I can do are F. I mean, again, maybe helicopters and stuff, but unlikely. And I don't think I'll be doing interesting. You can go to Miami University and take off in the FA-18 Super Hornet. That would be pretty interesting from a college campus. But in any event, 64,000, so not bad. Again, I'm going to need fuel. I'm going to need some other things, but we'll worry about that next time. Hopefully I won't forget. I should be okay. But hopefully this has been enjoyable. I know it's been a long one, but if you have enjoyed it, haven't dropped a like, please consider doing that. If you are not a subscriber to the channel yet, please consider that, and I will see you next time.